What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the red color. Absolutely furious that he lost, that he dropped a game here against Grassengroom. He's playing Zeus. His name is Player. His opponent today in the blue color, just completely overjoyed in his recent exploits. His name is Grassengroom, and he's going to be attempting to execute what he once executed yet again. We'll see how it's going to go. Game number one was the first game, I guess, game number one, game number two. We only got 2 games here. They only played 2, I think. But it was an incredibly unique game in terms of Grassengroom Oranos strategy. A lot to learn from him there, I would say, in this matchup. And a lot to be really paying attention to if you're a Zeus player or a Greek player or literally anyone, and notice the differences in army size at points in the game to work out, hang on, did my opponent cut villages here? Maybe. If they did, maybe we shouldn't fight and just let my economy pick up and get tech. Because that's the way you beat big populations of units when they don't have economy, is you get tech, and then what happens? Their units do nothing and your units do everything. Anyways, onwards and upwards. We'll see if TSM player wants to try something different in this game. He went for Centaur, Hoplite, Hippocon in the first game. Like I said, there's 3 options. Lots of different ways to go here with Zeus. I do think the most popular way to go is the Centaur, and you can see why from that first game. The micro that you can do with the Centaur and the way to kind of run around and create chaos and get value is really good. The better you get at the game, the better Centaur become, and the stronger in this matchup Zeus becomes. I would say here, as we see a house being dropped over here for TSM player, not getting housed, very important. TSM player has been liking these 3 villager on wood, 2 villager on gold builds. This is kind of the 330, 430 advanced time builds that we saw way back when. A lot of players recently have been preferring to go 2 villagers wood, 2 villagers gold, with the idea of going for a 4-minute advance time or a 4:15 advance time, or if you're going to get the Jason out, something like just a sub 4:30 with Jason kind of advances. But that's more just like personal preference. Yeah, the extra little bit of time can help, but it doesn't really matter a whole lot in the end of the day, unless you are going for incredibly early aggression. Yes, that's my 2 cents where that's concerned. As we see Grassengroom, he's already moving over onto these carry. This is something I've noticed that Grassengroom really likes to do. I'm not sure if other Atlantean players like to do this either, but the idea is that if you start gathering on the secondary hunt early, you're going to finish on it really fast, and that way you don't have to fight for it against the early pressure that a Greek can apply with their early heroes. So that's a thing where that's concerned. As we see these Aurochs getting eaten up here nicely for Grassengroom. Is it 3 Aurochs or 4? Looks like it's 4 Aurochs, but for some reason we've moved over onto this patch instead of whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, relics on the map. We've got ourselves the blanket of Empress Zoe. This one's, or Zoe? I never know. Is this Zoe or Zoe? Let me know. This is -5% building crush vulnerability. This one might not seem like it's that great, but when it comes down to it, all of your buildings in the late game having an extra 5% crush vulnerability really helps against those siege weapons that start coming in. So if you want to defend against like Fire Siphon and things like that, it's definitely a must grab for the Greek players here. As we see TSM play, or the other relic I should say, being Pandora's Box, a -25% myth unit training time. Really good for those Centaur abusive players that we're going to be seeing TSM player go for this strategy yet again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it type thing. And we'll see how it's going to go. We do see TSM player going for 9 villagers on wood. Now, if you go for a 4:30 advance time, one way you can do this to make your economy feel a little bit more natural is you can actually start putting villagers onto wood slightly earlier, and you only need to go up to 8 in order to afford everything. If you go up to 9, you're going to have slightly more wood than you otherwise might need. And if you just go 8, then you can just produce everything you need very easily here. So we'll see how it's all going to go as the Centaur now moving forward, the Promethean out for Grassengroom here as the Jason trying to push in here off this golden line. There's the counter barracks, there's the military barracks as the villagers going to be trying to mine this gold line unhinged here. I mean, it's in range of the... Well, it's not in range of the town center. That's wild. These villagers should be able to just get in up behind this manor, though, and be fine. As we do see these Promethean getting pushed back here. Some goats coming back in as the Centaur will be moving in onto this position, though. The Caribou here going to be finished off. This is exactly what Grassengroom wanted here. Is there's the Centaur Polymark going to be starting to hit out on this citizen. 65 HP remaining. Grassengroom not paying attention here. We do see the citizen getting pulled back. Nice attack there from TSM player. If you didn't notice what he did, he was targeting down a building with his Jason up the top, or targeting down units with a building up the top, and that allows a secondary raid to not give off any signal that Grassengroom is being attacked. So Grassengroom actually has to look at his map to work that out, as these two citizens have been scouted right here by the Centaur. Nice play by a TSM player, getting a little bit more damage done as the Jason in here as well. Surely you see a bolt onto one of those Mamilla heroes. Exactly what's going to be happening there as the citizen does end up going down. Immediately, the Terma going to be getting targeted down. Well, it should be the hero Terma getting targeted down there as the citizen retreats, gets away. The hero Mamilla gets away as well. And we get to move on to the next part of the game there as the Promethean Offspring going down, the Hippocon starting to get trained now by TSM player as Grassengroom. He's lost the citizen in the early game. Yet again, this Centaur causing havoc on this location over here as well, as TSM players micro, multitasking, all the good stuff, absolutely off the chain in this game thus far. Going to be almost able to take out this citizen here as well. Nice micro there as we see a shockwave coming in. This citizen needs to retreat here, but TSM player, he is all over Grassengroom in this game thus far. Resources incredibly low here, dropping the military academy as well. Villagers are onto the goats at this point. He's got himself husbandry, he's got himself hand axe, getting this relic here as well, going to be pulling back. And now he's found the advantage. He's going to try and convert this advantage somehow, some way in this game. We'll see if he's going to make a blunder or if it's going to be a good thing. Right now, Grassengroom's economy in a little bit of a problem here. But one thing you can do if you find yourself with a ton of resources as Oranos is, well, if you have hunt here, just eat the hunt. But if you don't, bring the goats over here and just bring these villagers off of the gold, get yourself the extra food, spend said food, and make yourself live the dream and feel good about yourself because you fixed your economy, because then the villagers can just go back onto gold. It's really easy for Oranos players, as opposed to other civilizations, to fix their economy. In fact, if you're unaware and you actually go back and you play the first campaign again, you will know that they actually tell you this. If you're short of a resource, consider retasking your villagers to different resources. Athena, she knows. She was one of the most badass warlords of ancient times. So yeah, that's warlords? That's not. Whatever. You know what I mean. Anyways, we see the units popping in here. The dangerous Hero Momillos coming forward, trying to chase down these Centaurs. But TSM players micro. He's an absolute madman. We see Grassengroom deciding, you know what, I'm just going to split all my Momillo up and target down different Centaurs here, as the Hippocon are getting taken out as pretty easily over here by those Promethean here, as the Odysseus is busy trying to take out these hero units when it probably should be going after the Promethean at this point. Still good micro here from TSM player. He's about to lose one Centaur. Doesn't lose this one though, still keeping that one alive as the Hero Mamillas getting taken out on the back here as Grassengroom retreating away. TSM players at 58 or 61 of 95 population, still completely fine here. Grassengroom does have the advantage at this point as the units retreat back, but we see even some medium catapulties coming through for Grassengroom as he's deciding, you know what, I don't even want to make Terma in this game anymore. Terma are just not going to cut it here at all, as the TSM player going to slowly start dropping these farms down. He does have berry bushes over here, which you definitely should be eating before you start mass farming. Dropping a couple of farms down is completely fine because it allows your goats to fatten just a little bit. more, but I do think that maybe it would be better to drop the villagers over onto berries first and then go onto farms if you're doing it completely right in a way. Anyways, we see the units pushing forward. Thank you for the raiding party, Punkstar. Hope your stream went well. And now Grassengroom just hanging out the front of the base here. Well, he needs to put pressure on. This is a forward gold mine here. If he can target this, maybe waiting for the shockwave and then making a really big push in here wouldn't be a bad idea. Grassengroom could also think about trying to get to the heroic age here. Like I said, one option that I feel is completely unexplored by the Atlantean players is some sort of semi-fast heroic through Thea into Stymphalian birds. Instead of making these Prometheans here, which while they did help a little bit in that fight, instead of making those, don't go for the fight and just go to the heroic age. Instead, make Stymphalian birds, get yourself those stronger dryads out as well, and find yourself in a much, much better position fighting against the Greek army than not. Anyways, onwards and upwards. We see Grassengroom pushing forward here. Going to try and take out TSM players. Centaur are ready to start sniping down units here as Grassengroom hits the go button. But is it going to work here? He still doesn't have the shockwave. 30 seconds remaining. We see the Hero Murmillo coming forward. More Hero Murmillo coming in to try and take out these Centaur pole marks. The Promethean Offspring actually a really, really good unit to slow those down just a little bit here as the Murmillo mostly getting taken down. There's just one Murmillo hero here that will get taken down very, very fast. TSM player trying to micro this Centaur away, does do so very nicely here. As on the front here, we see the units able to push forward just a little bit, but the hero units of Grassengroom are mostly all dealt with, as it looks like TSM player is going to be able to bring his Centaur back into the fight and then deal with the rest of this army very, very easily here. As yet another, the path blocking here. Centaur, a little bit difficult to actually control, as we see there's the shockwave coming in there for Grassengroom in the end of that fight here, as we see no more real heroes left for Grassengroom. He might have to retreat here as TSM player looks like he's been able to clean up the majority of these units. It might not look like TSM player is winning here, but as soon as those heroes are all gone, those Centaur, as long as there are a couple remaining, and they're able to clean up everything else. So nice fight there by TSM player. I feel like Grassengroom has made a fairly large mistake taking that fight there with no significant advantage. And we'll see where to next here. Remember, there are still these caribou up in this corner over here, but player just saying, yeah, I don't want to leave my base. I'm just going to stay here. Just keeps dropping those farms, getting further and further ahead on the economy, taking things slow. We do see the second town center for Grassengroom, as he's going to continue to try and spam out units. Maybe in this game, he's going to keep building villages here. Now, this is a 1 gold mine ghost lake, so there is a really, really big lose condition that is in this map, and that is this gold mine expiring and having to move over onto this gold mine here. And we see a very smart wall coming up here by TSM player, but there's bears here, so he's going to have to be careful about this one. In order to actually keep this villager safe, build these walls, click over here, build this wall, and build this one, and then the polar bear won't be able to kill your villager. But yeah, you have to be a little bit careful there, because the polar bear, they're hungry. They've been sitting here for 12 minutes and 35 seconds, and they haven't been able to eat anything. And I tell you what, Zeus villagers, they taste yummy. They taste yummy, ladies and gentlemen. The unit's pushing out, and is this going to be yet another mistake from TSM player? We'll see if he's going to be able to take this fight and win or not. We've got ourselves medium and military for Grassengroom. Only 2 Centaur here for TSM player. The unit's taking out these Terma needs to be one of the more prime micro things that the TSM player needs to do. And in that moment, it looks like Grassengroom's deciding he needs to pull back, not happy with that fight. Maybe too many Terma in his army against the majority of units, which counter the Terma here as Grassengroom pulls back into his base. We'll see if he's going to be able to manage this gold mine over here and continue to survive in this game, as this town center, while it's up, is not going to get him all too much. Do we see the home town center? It's still producing citizen, but it's going to be tough for Grassengroom to maintain production. He's only got 2 military buildings here. It might be worth it to grab some more here, as TSM player is now going to be moving his army around here. He's found a weak point in the base as the citizen gets pulled. There's no way this citizen is going to be able to repair this wall up. Come on, Grassengroom. His citizens are retreating away now. It's going to survive, but now the army coming in. It's still a scary army for Grassengroom. He's got 10 Mermillo in this army, but compared to the army of TSM player, that's 11 hoplites, 5 hippocon, 3 centaur here. They will be able to go to town. We've also got medium infantry coming through here as the fight is ensuing. The 3 centaur have got no weaknesses anymore, as the hero Terma slowly getting created. We see 1 hero citizen coming in to start shanking. The micro coming through now for TSM player. Nice micro by Grassengroom to keep that centaur fighting. The hero Terma going to try and run away or run around and get some shots off, but doesn't manage to hit the centaur with that last fleeting shot here. Most of the units falling. Those hoplites still pushing forward, but it looks like Grassengroom manages to hold here, but the damage has been done. Grassengroom, 86 population, TSM player, 75 population. He's eating the caribou over here, now getting himself his 2nd town center, and it looks like he's going to be in a decent position here. As well, right now, unlike last game, TSM player, I don't actually know. This could go anyway here. I guess the big difference is that Grassengroom is on farms and he doesn't have hunts, so everything is slowed down a little bit. But if you think about how good it is to farm with Atlanteans, a lot of the times when the farm transition comes in, it does favor the Atlanteans, mostly because the citizens don't have to walk too far from wood. You can just make sure you put the citizens next to a tower or something. It's essentially the same thing as next to a town center, as we see the citizen over here getting sniped down. TSM player is not going to be taking his foot off the accelerator here in this game, as he's managing to pick off more and more units with his centaur, as now Grassengroom pushing up to the top side of the map, looking to break through these gates. At some point, maybe looking to get onto this gold mine in the back here. Wouldn't be a bad idea. And TSM player, he's kind of predicting this a little bit, pulling back. I mean, he sees the units pushing through. A couple of hero Terma getting created here. Grassengroom, he is managing to build villages from both of his towns and is here dropping more military buildings. He is going to be kind of stuck in the classical age. Continuing to take fights is definitely a way to go here. TSM player, he's actually stopped the production of Centaur for some reason here. I'm not sure what that's about. Doesn't have that many villages on wood. He's got so many villages on food. He can go mainly hoplite hippocon here, up to 130 population, and then look to go to the next stage. We see a military academy getting built over here, the Centaur in the back. Going to be very, very useful in these fights, as we see the military academy getting thrown back up yet again, as the army of Grassengroom going to be retreating back out of here. We'll see if that's the case. Or if he wants to take a fight, as TSM player is going to be able to advance very, very soon. We see an armory coming up here as more farms getting dropped for Grassengroom. Now, remember we said that this gold mine was going to be a problem, but it turns out this gold mine's not going to be a problem, but then the next gold mine might be, as we do see the Ketoskopos over here scouting out the town center and the gold mine. We see villagers over here for TSM player, and effectively, Grassengroom's going to want this gold mine, and TSM player is going to be saying big no to that, as Grassengroom picking Hyperion again. Still, I think that Thayer is the way to go in this matchup, but not happening here, as we see Apollo coming through for TSM player. We see TSM player in Twitch chat all the time saying, man, players these days really don't know how to use Underworld. So we'll see if TSM player is going to show us the way in this game, or if he's even going to need it or not, is kind of the big question here. As TSM player is starting to march across the map, looking for something to do here, as military buildings getting dropped on this town center for Grassengroom, as he's going to be wanting to get that for himself here. As we'll see how it's going to go. The units retreating back here for Grassengroom. Just a little bit. Apollo does get hit by TSM player, as the units here just a a little bit lazy, just not pushing in. Town Center over here going up as well for TSM players. He's going to go up to 3 Town Centers in the Heroic Age. He's not got a marker getting thrown up anywhere, but plenty of food income to continue supporting these hoplites as immediately a curse gets dropped. Unfortunately, hitting the low HP Centaur there as the units in the back are going to be getting taken down. And unlike in the first game, TSM player still has got ceasefire, so he can actually use his ceasefire now if he wants to, realizing that maybe this is not the best of fights to take as the Terma. I mean, this is majority Terma here, I guess, so maybe TSM player can win this one. Yet again, we do see those Toxotes coming in at this point for TSM player. I do think that this is a little bit of a mistake in this situation. But he's building them nonetheless, as it looks like TSM player's army gets completely brutalized here, and he has to retreat away. So we'll see how that's all going to go, as now the town center going to be getting built for Grassengroom as the units come through here now. The Heracles on its way to start thwacking away at these units. We see the Manticore in the back going to start taking down the Murmillo here. This Manticore is actually really, really strong here. Very rarely we see it, but if you get out like 2 or 3 Manticores in your army, then that can absolutely massacre an army. Because you take a look at this special ability, the AoE, it shoots 6 projectiles at 15 pierce each, and the AoE damage bonus is 100% versus myth units. So essentially, 6 projectiles at 15 damage times by 3, you're looking at like 45 splash damage, which is kind of close to how good a fire giant is. So if you've got a whole bunch of these Manticore with no enemy heroes, you can really deal some huge amounts of damage here. As a player is trying to push through, we see the Heracles is out, and that is a really, really tanky unit to have at this point in the game. 580 HP with Olympic parentage allows this Heracles to be an absolute tank in this army, as those Terma get absolutely carved through, and Grassengroom looks like he's got he does not really have the army he needs to deal with what TSM players got here, and TSM players taking this opportunity to just say, you know what? No, you are not getting this town center. I'm building a fortress here, and you're going to be stuck 2 town centers, and that's it. And Grassengroom's got to figure out a way forward here, and he's going to say, look, Mythic Age is the way to go. We'll see if he wants to decide to go through Helios, go through Hecate. He's going through Hecate. This might be a little bit of a, not necessarily a mistake, but there could be something that's going to happen here, which is really, really strong for TSM player, in that he can think about casting Ceasefire and grabbing this town center at the same time when the Tartarian Gate is thrown down. Or even not necessarily when it's thrown down, but just like when he sees Hecate, he can grab the town center, cast Ceasefire, and give himself an extra minute to kind of deal with that. As not only that, but TSM player's got his market up. He's got his trade route started just a little bit, and he's going to be looking to go to the Mythic Age here as soon as he possibly can. There's Hephaestus. No need to risk Hera here. Like 9 times out of 10, if you haven't raced to the Mythic Age, going through Hephaestus is the better option. And what I mean by race to the Mythic Age, I mean like 1 town center, like complete all-in style Zeus play here is a way forward. As we see the town center going up, the units pushing in, they're going to say, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Right now, Grassengroom's real only option is to spam upgrades and try and find some sort of way to get himself 3 town centers and then start pressuring gold mines somewhere here. As the Hephaestus gets taken down, another palace coming up here, and let's take a look. TSM player doesn't quite have the resources to grab this town center, but these 2 Terma are going to drop something over here, as TSM player already deciding to simply just retreat back. He's feeling the Hecate. He's like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to take this out. No problems here. And there's the Tartarian Gate as the units retreating back here. Maybe just make a gate, make yourself a little bit easier for you to get back here. Looks like the Tartarian Gate doesn't actually pick off the temple either. Hephaestus will pop, and that'll be a Colossus here to help out, as well as player is taking this opportunity to take, or sorry, Grassengroom is taking this opportunity to take this fortress down, as the villagers come forward here. Going to try and grab this town center for themselves and cast Ceasefire, but the villagers look like they're mostly getting taken down here as the fortress goes down as well, and TSM player cannot get this this town center up. Grassengroom is 2 on top of it, manages to prevent that ceasefire shenaniganry from coming through here. As not only that, Fortress goes down, town center grab for Grassengroom, but TSM player is now in the Mythic Age. He's got Hephaestus. He's going to be able to have a underworld that he could take out this town center with, take out this town center, he could take out this town center, any one. Essentially, you just need to make sure that your opponent's army is not close to it, and you can find yourself with some serious advantages where that's considered. So we'll see how it's going to go. As a straggler hoplite coming through, going to try and prevent this Townsend from going up. One thing that player can do now is also thinking about going for Myrmidon, which are really, really strong against literally everything. As now, this was the problem we were talking about before. This gold mine, while we do see a palace is up, TSM player is not going to allow this one to get grabbed at all here. Now, Grassengroom can come over to this gold mine after the town center is up, but he has to clean up those buildings. But it's just going to be such a difficult time for Grassengroom to continue to get gold in this game here, as TSM player can push through, take this palace out. We've got Fanatics attempting to get built by a Grassengroom, which are a really, really good idea here at this point, but Palace goes down, gold mine gets prevented. This town center is continuing to get denied here by the infantry units that are pushing in onto this position, continuing to slow this one down, able to take the palace out. And now, I mean, TSM player can just simply say, time to underworld anywhere on the map. He's going to decide to come over here. He sees the town center is not up. Why not come over here? He's got the Colossus, and the Colossus does get hit here. Nice play by Grassengroom to take that one out. The Heracles and the Odysseus going to be able to deal with this one. We do see a Fire Siphon coming out, maybe going to try and take out the Underworld Passage here as a TSM player. He's going to be at 104. Oh, he's not at 145 population, but plenty of resources in the bank, plenty of opportunity to spam out Colossus here. As we do see this Underworld Passage is getting taken out. We see some units popping out here to take these ones down. Will they be able to kill it off? Now this Lampede is able to do tons of damage to the Underworld Passage. We see the Jason coming through trying to slice this one up, but it looks like the Underworld Passage does go down, and that might give Grassengroom a little bit of gold here as the game continues. Villagers moving forward, going to attempt to potentially take this town center down, help them out. We see a fortress coming down, or a temple coming down here. Nice option there to start making those, to make those Colossus here, it would seem, as a Heliopolis is indeed coming out over here as, like, well, what can Grassengroom do? How does Grassengroom have gold here? He's just currently selling. He's got 18 gold left for 100 wood, 39 food for 39 gold for 100 food. So really nothing left in the tank. So all TSM player needs to do is clean up these units and be okay in this position here, as the Fire Siphon going to be getting taken out here eventually. We see the town center up. It's still not quite up, but it's almost going to be there, as the Citizen going to try and get onto this gold mine over here, but looks like the the Heliopolis plus the infantry going to take out those Fire Siphon too easily here, as TSM player going to continue to win these fights on this position. Now the Bellerophon is in for TSM player, and this is one of the most disgusting things you can do with the Bellerophon, is attack the Citizen. The jump attack does like 100 damage or something, 100 hack damage. The Citizen have got 160 with 30% armor, which means that it's only going to do 70 damage, but 70 damage down, then the 26 DPS comes in, and those Citizens get killed off in like 3 or 4 seconds from the Bellerophon, as opposed to jumping him into the opponent's army here, as we are going to be seeing. That's kind of what the Bellerophon's going for now, going for those raids here. You see the Citizen's going to turn around and start shanking down here, as now the push through is coming in. Those Toxoides are going to start being very, very strong now. The Forge of Olympus is in those. There's that. Look at that damage. Look at that damage. Dead Citizen, 4 attacks plus a jump attack. Absolutely bonkers. And in that moment, Grassengroom realizes his army cannot compete with the Greek army here anymore. It was too difficult to get that town center set up, grab a gold mine, get himself set up in the late game-ish in order to deal with these units. If we take a good look at what the upgrades are, 0 upgrades for Grassengroom. TSM players upgrades, while he's only got full copper and the bronze shields, it's going to start coming in. If we take a look, he's already getting himself iron shields here, and that's going to mean that those archers just don't do anything And that's the game. An incredibly well executed game here by player. I do think that the idea of trying to take early game fights with Oranos against Zeus, who's making those Centaur, seems to not be 100% the best way to play here. I do think that some form of semi-fast heroic through Thea, getting Stymphalian birds out, using your favor for Stymphalian birds instead of Prometheans, is going to be the way to go here for the most part with Oranos. Instead of just trying to continue to bash against those Centaur and not being able to deal with them. It's just a little bit too difficult, if you ask me. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.